The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the EPPodcast.com.
On this program today, return guest Lieutenant Ed Dunne from the Evergreen Park Fire Department, talking about smoke detectors and a special event for seniors here in Evergreen Park and services that are offered to all residents. And I'm headed to the barn at Sexton Park to hang out with the animals and talk with Mary Kay Nielsen, who runs that place. She's been on the show as well before. This time, though, she brings a rooster into the interview. And if you don't think I try to interview the rooster during the segment, you haven't listened to me on the EP podcast before, have you? Find out later whether or not the rooster responded. Before we kick this show off, just a reminder for you, not only can you get the EP podcast anywhere podcasts can be found, that means any app that plays podcasts from Spotify to Apple Podcasts and beyond, but also at the EPPodcast.com, and we have a YouTube channel. Now, YouTube is the Wild West, so there's several people trying to be the EP podcast. It's easy to figure out who we are, one, because of that green EP symbol that's been on the back of people's cars for decades, and two, I think the other one that pops up all the time is a weightlifting show from Europe. If you've met me before, I am not a weightlifter from Europe. Some of the videos up there right now include a full episode that we did that has the Evergreen Park Police Department drone unit on the show. That impressed my 9-year-old. He watched that whole episode. He stayed around for the back half where I learned how to play pickleball with John Dwyer up at Duffy. Check out Dr. Jenna Woodland from District 124 sitting down here and talking about her Central Middle School and why there probably needs to be a new Central Middle School. Check out the YouTube channel and check out the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, our proud sponsors. It finally happened. I overdrew my checking account. And you're going to think that I did it on purpose because I overdrew it pulling money from an ATM while on vacation, not realizing that I hadn't made the deposit that was sitting on my kitchen table. First, I used an ATM with a big fee on it. First National Bank of Evergreen Park put the fee back in. Then I took out too much money. First National Bank of Evergreen Park still paid the bills that I had set up on auto pay, even though I was in the negative, didn't charge me any overdraft fees. I put money in when I got back from the trip. No harm, no foul. You do not get that at other banks. Bank local, stop up there and see them today. The proud sponsors of the EP podcast. Where else will you get that kind of service? The First National Bank of Evergreen Park on the corner of 95th and Pulaski, member FDIC. Sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar, return guest, I believe you were here a year ago. At the same time, Lieutenant Ed Dunne of the Evergreen Park Fire Department. How are you, sir?
Fine. Good morning.
Good morning. So this show comes out on Tuesday the 10th, and right away on Wednesday the 11th, there's an event. So it's perfect timing. We're going to get to that first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about fire alarms, and I got some questions for you this time around.
Sounds
I'm ready
good.
for it, okay?
Yes.
But the Senior Health Fair is this Wednesday, the day after this episode comes out, June the 11th. It starts at 10 a.m., goes until 1 p.m., over at the fire department, 9000 South Kedzie Avenue. Our partners, OSF Healthcare, little company of Mary Medical Center, is going to be there. So yes, we know them very well. They come on once a month and do kind of a medical segment with us. What will they be doing at this fair?
Getting a lot of information about needs that they have, healthy living. We also have blood pressure. We have glucose readings, so they can check those out. We're also going to have a skin doctor there, so check a look at your skin. It'll be very private. We have curtains set up, so it'll be private with you and the dermatologist. And
I don't know. As I get older, I get less bashful.
Oh,
so I mean, there might be some seniors that will just be like, "I'll take my shirt off in the crowd."
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know about the ladies will be that.
No, not them. Yeah.
Yes, but we do have it, so it is private. There'll be a skin doctor looking, checking for mold, the skin molds, and that kind of thing. And then there's a bunch of information. The state police going to be the Cook County Police, state's attorney. So a lot of information that deals with senior scams and that. Our own police department. So there'll be a lot of information that has to deal with senior citizens living. Yeah.
So first is it's take care of their health. It's get the screenings, do those things, and that's important. Exactly. And I would think that a lot of them are doing that, but some might not be, and it's a good idea to take a look. I go to my own doctor now once a year, and I treat it like going to the mechanic. Like I'm going to ask every question. I want you to, change the oil, run the test, do this, do that, and then give it to me straight.
Right.
And what do I need to do to change?
Exactly.
And I started doing that about 5 years ago, and that's when I had the weight loss and took care of my blood pressure was getting high. I just went in. They're like, perfect. Last 2 times you come in, it's perfect. Like I'm starting to get everything back where it needs to be, and you got to do that. It's important to do these screenings.
It is. So as we're getting older, our body starts to deteriorate, and so we're noticing a lot more things going on. So it's good to be proactive instead of reactive.
Why is it important for the fire department to hold something like this? I mean, like my initial reaction is, well, if we take care of them now, we don't have to go on as many ambulance calls. But I mean, what is the reason behind it?
Well, we don't mind going on an ambulance call. That's what we're there for. Right. But the fire department also is a community resource. So people who need health exams, people who need help, first aid classes, CPR classes, we're there as a community resource to help you have a better life. So that is and I take that very seriously because, again, where else can you go to get that type of training? So we're here as a community service to help our community be healthier and safer.
You know, my uncle was a Chicago fireman. I stayed at the firehouse he was at once or twice. You know, I get the thing where they're like, oh, it's family. And I stayed over and I got to slide down the pole and go on like a 2:00 in the morning call and play with the Dalmatian and all that good stuff. But what I noticed was every once in a while, somebody would just walk up because they had a question. Or they you know, how do I put in a car seat? How do I do, like little things would happen. Do you get that over at your place as well?
Yes, absolutely. Walk-ups are fine, but we'd rather have an appointment because then we can set up for and get ready for that because there are some things that we have equipment-wise and manpower-wise if we're not training or if we're on calls, you know, we're not going to waste your time. So we prefer to call and make an appointment if you're going to do that. But yeah, we encourage walk-ups too. That's fine. We have no problem with that.
So one of the things you might get questions about are smoke detectors, fire alarms, carbon monoxide detectors. Right now, it's different than it was 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, every 6 months you would do it. You would sit there, okay, I'm changing the batteries, and it's always during like daylight savings time or something. That's when you guys would do it. Now, a lot of these alarms are 10 years.
Yes.
And I think they'll indicate when they're running out. What advice do you give right now to the homeowners that may have the old ones?
Right. Right now, there is a date stamped on the smoke alarms. It's usually good for 10 years. It'll start beeping, and if it's a constant beep, intermittent beep, then you know that the batteries are going bad, number one, or number two, it could be the smoke alarm itself.
Okay.
So that's how we would know, is it gives a signal stating that if it's beeping, check the date on, take it down, look at the date, and if it's 10 years or better, then we know we need to replace it.
So those are the ones with those long-term lithium batteries. So are people still allowed to have the other ones in there?
They can. Until they expire, whatever their date is expired, then yes, they can still have them.
They can still use those. Yes. They don't have to remove anything
Again,
like that.
You'll have to test it every 6 months like we've done in the past. But with these new ones, it's 10 years long in life for the battery. So that will be a lot longer time where you wouldn't have to test it all the time.
Are there differences? Like I always say fire detector, but in reality, it's a smoke alarm, right? They're always looking for smoke.
The terminology always changes, what's the big word? It's smoke alarms now.
Smoke alarms. All right. So where do I put these in the house? Here's what I have. You tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I have them in higher points of the home because I want this. I figure smoke rises.
Correct.
So I want them up high.
Yes.
I have them next to bedrooms.
Okay.
Because that's where everybody's sleeping in the middle of the night. Feels like that's the most important place to have them. And the way that my house is set up, there is a kitchen in between where the bedrooms all sit. So to me, it's like, okay, this one is right here at the end of the kitchen, right by the bedroom door up high. And then on the other side of the kitchen, right over the bedroom doors, there's 2 bedrooms right there up high. That's where I have them both positioned. I've got one down here in the basement, especially because I got this big wooden bar.
Yes.
Figure if this goes up, I want it to go off immediately.
Exactly.
This is going to burn the house bright if it goes up one day. So, but those are locations that I have them at. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yes. No, you are correct. We don't want to put them near the bathroom or the kitchen near the stove because, again, that could emit smoke, particles along with the steam from the shower. That will give you a false alarm. So we want to take them outside of those areas. Bedrooms are absolutely essential outside the bedrooms. If you can afford to put them in one inside a bedroom, that'd be even better. But that's a lot. You can do that. So if you've got a minimum budget, just outside the bedroom is exactly where we want to have them. We want them 6 inches off the ceiling.
Okay.
Because that's where airflow goes. There's air currents within the house. So if you put it exactly at the ceiling level, the air currents won't go through the smoke alarms, the detector smoke. So we want to bring it down about 6 inches from the ceiling. Not in corners. We want them in outside on the walls. So no corners either.
How often do you guys go into a house, notice a smoke detector, and say, okay, they had one, but they didn't do it right? Is this idiot proof, or can you still screw this up?
Oh yeah, when human beings are involved, it can be screwed up.
So what kind of examples? What mistakes do you see the most?
Mostly when we go for carbon monoxide alarms, they say that it's the smoke alarm. Well, it wasn't. They're totally two separate, detectors. And then when we some ambulance calls, some guys will look, like I know I do, look to make sure that smoke alarms are where they're at and ask them how long it's been since they changed the battery in that. So I will do that because I'm in the public education, so that's part of my job. So we always ask questions when we go on ambulance calls. And then when they call, they said it's beeping. Okay, so we come out and we check it and we try to find out that's either the battery or the smoke alarm itself is expired and it's time to get a new one.
You mentioned carbon monoxide alarms.
Yes.
It was in the news in the last 6 months. Brent Gardner, big-time Yankees player for years, takes his family down, I want to say to Peru. They think there's food poisoning because they're not feeling well.
Right.
The son goes to bed in a room and doesn't wake up the next day. He's dead. It took a while to figure it out, but it's because there weren't carbon monoxide detectors inside the hotel that they were in. And it was in his bedroom. So everybody else was nauseous because they were close enough to it. He went to sleep in it, and unfortunately this teenager dies of this very famous Yankees player. And I go on trips. I'm a backpack user. Okay. I started doing this. Like, I don't like to check my bag. So I have like one of these professional multi-pouch, stores everything in a cube. I went to Australia for 2 weeks with a backpack one time. Okay. And I was able to pack everything I needed.
Yeah, good for you.
And in there I have basically the size of a bar coaster, but a little thicker. I have a carbon monoxide detector that I bring with me. I take the batteries out and I bring it everywhere where I go because I'm not sure if every Airbnb or every hotel is properly equipped. It seems like people know to put the fire alarms up, but they don't do the carbon monoxide detectors right.
You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. If you can carry one with you and have a hanger where the smoke alarm will go in the center of the hanger and you can hang it then, so then you have your covering. Because carbon monoxide is tasteless and colorless and odorless. So you'll never know if it's in the building or not until it's too late. You start having the symptoms, the headaches, the turning reddish. So that's the signs of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
And if it goes too far, then obviously, bad things are going to happen. So yeah, it's a good idea if you do have a carbon monoxide alarm and bring it with you if you are going to be traveling. Because again, people just aren't ready for that.
Do they get put in the same place? Because it's funny, the one that I have has a stand on it like you would put it on a nightstand.
Yes.
I've seen them where you plug them into a wall, but that runs on the floor. And then I have one that's positioned right underneath the smoke detector. Is there a level on the wall where those should be? Or is it because that gas basically fills the whole room, it doesn't matter as much?
Carbon monoxide's weight, the molecules, are the same as air.
Okay.
So wherever the air currents are going, that's where carbon monoxide is going. So it doesn't make it if it's high or low where you put your smoke alarm. The best one is to have is one that has a digital reading. It gives you an actual number. Anything over 35 is letting you know that there's a problem with your gas appliance. So carbon monoxide is produced by gas appliance. When it's not burning clean, when it's dirty, the flame is blue. If you got an orange or a yellow, it's not burning correctly.
Okay.
So that's when carbon monoxide can start. So 35 parts per million and under. You can be in that for 8 hours, but it's telling you, hey, something's wrong here, and you need to investigate.
Something's not right.
Right.
You gotta...
So 50 parts, that means really something's not going right here. Anything over 100, you can't be in for any length of time. You need to really get out of the house and call the gas company or us, and we'll try to find the source so we can get the gas company out there to find out what gas appliance is not working correctly.
I've met a lot of people who believe their fire alarm has that in there as well. They don't, do they?
Not all of them. You have to read what you buy.
Okay.
Some can come together, but some do not. So you really have to read the packaging as to what you're buying.
All right, yeah. I mean, the perfect example was my ex-in-laws. That guy would be like, Chris, I'm pretty sure. That's how he talked.
Yeah.
They were country. She was from West Virginia. Chris, I'm pretty sure it does everything. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It just says smoke detector on it.
Yes.
No, they'll get the carbon monoxide. That's when I started bringing my own.
Yeah,
because I figured this guy can die in his sleep, but I'm not dying in my sleep when I go visit him. Right.
Right, because you can't taste it, you can't smell it. It just sneaks up on you. And like I said, you start having symptoms, there's something wrong. You got to get that checked. And it's just like, you could be thinking it's the flu when actually it's carbon monoxide poisoning.
Does the fire department offer any assistance when it comes to these alarms, or is it just the advice you're giving me today?
We're checking the appliances, the gas appliances, to see which ones. So we're trying to pinpoint where the source is coming from. So then we can call the gas company, let them know, and they can come out and actually give us, yes, that is the source.
Right.
It doesn't need cleaning, doesn't need service. Do you need to get a new one? So we will advise the resident what needs to be done.
Okay, and then when it comes to the smoke detectors and even those carbon monoxide alarms, is there any other assistance that you give except for, hey, this is where you should put these things, go out and buy them? I don't know if you have any kind of programs, or you'll check somebody's house, or if somebody has a question, do they call you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you have a question, give us a call. We have no problem doing phone calls. We are starting a new senior citizens program, smoke alarm program for 65 and older. We'll have the information at the health fair, flyers for them to take. So we will come, 2 firefighters will come to the house, and we will, if you need them, we will install them, and we'll make sure that they're in the proper places for the smoke alarms. So if you do need them, we will come and we will install them for you.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That sounds like a good
there's
program.
There's some paperwork, but basically 2 firefighters.
Oh, there's got to be paperwork.
Yes,
You're sending 2 firemen over to somebody's house.
No, the lawyers got to get their hands in that too.
So you got to make sure it's all done
right. So we'll come and we'll set up appointments. So you call the firehouse, set up an appointment, and then 2 firefighters will come out and we'll install the smoke alarms for you.
All right. That firehouse located at 9000 South Kedzie Avenue. Remember, on Wednesday, June 11th this week, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Senior Health Fair, the 12th Annual Senior Health Fair. Lieutenant Ed Dunne, thanks again for stopping by.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. Now time for your EP Podcast Word on the Street, brought to you by Spoken Vine Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie, one of my favorite spots to hang out in all of Evergreen Park. But even though I frequent Spoken Vine, sometimes I have to go to the website before I do this segment, just to see if there's something special I should talk about. And I think you need to check it out. There's a picture of all the menu items on there. You don't believe me about the size of the homemade meatball plate? You're not sure about bacon-wrapped dates? You don't know what a pinza is and you want to check out the Sicilian or the margarita? It's all at SpokenVineWines.com. It's 21 and over, so if you want to get food for the whole family, you can order online for pickup. Or do what I do. I go up and drink a couple of glasses of wine and hang out with everybody, and then bring the food back later. Dad uses the old noggin. You can see it all at SpokenVineWines.com. The Office of Citizen Services is giving a one-day trip to Pullman National Monument on Thursday, August 14th. Pullman's a National Park Service museum. It's their newest, with an exhibit hall. You get a tour of one of Chicago's most historic neighborhoods. Your fee includes the deluxe motor coach, entrance into all the exhibits, lunch at Harborside Golf Center in Lake Calumet. It's all just $105. See more at evergreenpark-ill.com. The Youth Center has summer hours. They have begun 1 to 6 p.m. and it's open to students ages 10 to 18. Emergency form required, concessions available for purchase. The Evergreen Park Independence Day Parade is June the 27th. If any student from the age of 12 to 17 wants to walk with the youth department, just register by June the 20th. The EP Podcast will be up there on a float with the record shop on 95th. And when I say float, I mean fire truck with seating on top of it. We got hooked up by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. They'll be there too. See everybody at the parade on the 27th. The Evergreen Park Library is offering a brand new program, Animation Club for teens and adults. Kicks off on Monday, June the 16th. There's also a date in July and one in August for this group, 6:30 p.m. Get out in June to discuss what made Walt Disney so great. Man, you can read that a lot of ways. That's your word on the street. We're going to the barn. Listen for the rooster. I kept trying to get him on mic. Right here on the EP Podcast. The EP Podcast at the barn at Sexton Park. Mary Kay Nielsen is with me. She's been on the show before. I think it's the first time we've shot inside of the barn. It's a little windy today.
Yeah.
And I've shown all the photos from outside, but I've got a few of them in this package. How are you?
I'm good. And actually, I appreciate you being inside the barn, because one of the things I want people to know is that they can come into the barn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is awesome. So thank you for being in the barn.
You want people to know you're open. Stop by anytime. There's animals around. Like, first off, and this is a question that's burning inside of me since we got here, because I have my 9-year-old running around and my 19-year-old, right? And they have already held some bunnies, hung with some chickens, and there's a rooster here sitting here we're going to introduce in a moment. Is that the norm for anybody that comes to the barn, or am I getting special treatment?
Nope, you're not getting special treatment. All my staff will do a walk and talk. So if you come into the barn, and we open for people at 11 o'clock till 4:30.
Okay.
Okay. So you walk in, and one of my staff is going to say, hey, how you doing? They'll say, do you need a walk and talk? Which is when we walk through and we talk to and we show you what animals and we let you pet. If the horses are around and all of that, you know, they're out in the pasture right now. So I'll ask people, do you want to walk and talk? Or, you know, a lot of people just want to walk through and be kind of independent.
Are there other options besides walk and talk, like beer and goat? Is that one of them? Wine and horse?
Goat.
Wine and horse? Yoga and goat.
I got meat goats though, so you know, they're a little big. They're, you know, you got to be you got to have a sturdy, what is that, downward dog to do it with a meat goat.
Now, if somebody does a walk and talk, in the back, shh, quiet. We're doing an interview.
Don't tell them to be quiet.
If we come in here, you have some chickens in the back.
Yes.
And then you have roosters that are separated because they don't get along, which is amazing to me. You have two that live together. Then you have another one that's on one side. You have another one that's on the other side. You have temperamental roosters. This guy actually has a roommate. What is his name?
So this is Nugget.
Nugget. You named a rooster Nugget.
Nugget. Well, yeah, it's Nugget, you know.
Okay.
I mean, you know it. You know what roosters are, right?
How many nuggets would you make?
Exactly. Actually, I refer to them as stock pot, crock pot, Instapot, and
there
stew
you
pot,
go.
because they are of an age where you would not be able to eat them without a long cook.
Okay. Definitely.
So any roosters that you eat, and you always eat a rooster, they're 6 to 8 weeks old.
Okay.
That's it.
But you are edible.
So he is edible.
So shh, while we're doing the interview. Okay.
No, he's got a mom here.
Okay.
Olivia, and no, he makes home visits. No.
Okay. All right.
He's well taken care of.
So what's his deal? Tell me a little bit about him.
So this is Nugget and Sal, short for Salmonella.
Okay. You got cute names.
They are brothers. They're Orpingtons, and they hatched. We got them in 2022.
All right.
Okay, and they're brothers. And then we have Rusty, who's a lover, not a fighter.
Okay.
And he was rescued from the Dan Ryan Woods. People let out their roosters. They don't want them. So he was raised probably just without any chickens around.
You just say that so flippantly. Like people just let their roosters out when they don't want them. People have roosters?
They take them to that's a known thing. And they let the coyotes eat them.
Really?
Yeah, sadly. Sadly. Yeah, you'll see that all the time.
All right.
It's on all the, if you're on the right Facebook groups,
I guess so.
See it.
So he's a Dan Ryan rooster, and then you got one more of them out there.
And then we've got Bo, and Bo's a little spicy because Bo is young and what I call dumb.
Okay.
So he's a year old, and so he's got a lot going on and got a lot of hormones, but he'll settle down because that's the way these guys were when we got them. You know, they get they slow down with age.
Now in the morning time. Are they doing the thing that I've seen in cartoons? Are they cock-a-doodle doing?
They do, and they do all
waking up the neighborhood.
So here's what they're doing. In the morning, it is obviously to wake up.
Yeah.
Okay, and they'll do it at sunset too, let you know that sun's going down. But they also do it during the day. That's just they're protecting their girls. They're looking out for, birds of prey. They're looking out for. You go back there like, I don't know that guy. He looks shifty to me.
I'm shifty.
I'm
already trying to figure out how many nuggets you make. Don't trust me.
So yeah, I mean that's they're just talking.
They're like
they're doing their job.
Talking.
They are the men.
As we were
going men. That's what they're doing.
As we were talking, a horse peeked in just to see what was going on. Realized it had nothing to do with the horse, and the horse left. So there's a lot of animals. Break down what you have here. 2 bunnies. I know those are relatively
new. 2
new.
New bunnies. Yes. They were donated last year. So Elvis and Nugget. Elvis and Happy are our bunnies in our visitor center. We've got 3 horses. We've got Willie, who's the brown and white paint. A lot of kids call him a cow.
Okay.
And he's not a cow.
But he's not a cow.
He's a horse. We got Turkey, who is the bay out there, the big brown. She's an ex-harness racer out of Canada. We've got Ariel, who is the miniature horse, and people always think it's a baby, but she's 21 years old. She ain't no baby.
Okay.
And she's spicy. Mares are. And our horses are all seniors. So they go from 28 years old down to 21 years old. So Willie would be like an 82-year-old man. Turkey would be like a 64-year-old woman. Ariel would be like a 62-year-old woman.
All right.
Okay, so don't mess with them.
I would not mess with any of those. And then you have goats, right?
We have the 2 goats, Addison and Clark, right? And then we've got about 13 hens. We've got the 4 boys and the rabbits and 2 cats, Gus and Trey.
You got a lot going on.
And we got
here.
bees.
It's a full-time thing, right?
It's a full-time.
Every day there's somebody here taking care of these animals.
Every day. Every morning we have 2 crews. So we'll have a morning crew, an opening crew, and then we'll have a closing crew. So yeah. And there are many times that, the opening crew, if I'm the opening crew, I might be on the closing crew too.
Right.
It's just, there's a lot going on. Every season there's different things. So we're coming into summer, which is our hardest season.
Right.
This is the most difficult season. People think, winter is going to be, no. Winter's easy. They have a winter coat. They got winter feathers. Everybody is...
Now they're active. They're doing stuff. They're a pain in the butt.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. Nobody can take off their coat.
Yeah.
Nobody can take off their feathers. It's hot. So that's why it's the hardest season, is because of the heat.
And you get crowds here, especially for certain events. You just had this book thing that started. You got a big crowd. Tell me about it, because I know it's going on during the summer.
We are. So we're doing Read at the Barn,
Yep.
and it is on Sundays at 11 o'clock. We ask the parents to stay, or grandparents, or MVP, the most valuable person to stay. So we've got, let me look at my dates here. So we just did horses. We had a great group. We had a great group out there. So we had horses yesterday. We came in, we read a book, we went outside, we met the horses. Everybody got to pet the horses. We talked about how old they are and what they do. Father's Day, it's not going to be anything Father's Day. Obviously, we all want to be home with our dads. June 22nd is chickens. So Nugget's going to be educating everybody about the chickens. June 29th is goats. We're not doing anything the 4th of July weekend. And then we're going to do July 13th is rabbits, July 20th is bees, and July 27th is cats. So, those are just the first ones. We want to get people into the barn. This is to be an educational place. And so this is what we want. We want them to come out and learn.
He looked like he had something to say,
well,
so that's why I was giving him the microphone. And then he just clammed up, like most of my guests. Right? Put a microphone. Everybody thinks they can do this. You put a microphone in front of them, and they just can't do it, can they? You can't, you little nugget. Oh man, I put some barbecue sauce on you.
Do you know what he does? If you run, he chases you.
I'm sure.
In
does.
a nice way, and he jumps up on your boot
with those giant claws.
He does a happy dance. I'll show it to you at the very end. He does a happy dance. He's a this guy is like everything. He's our ambassador.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the book thing, main thing for the summer?
Main thing for the summer. Yep. Yeah. We do. The library's got a couple things coming up here. I think the week after next, they've got a couple. We've got 2 things coming up. We teamed up with the library. One is about the bees, and one is bonfire.
Because you have so much. You have bees here on the property. You're growing apples. People come pick apples and stuff. Yeah.
Yes,
There's a few things that you do here during the summer. I remember.
We got our gardens out in front.
Right.
Our straw bales.
Yeah. There's a lot to do. Like
side.
I always laugh at especially the dads who will sit there and say, I gotta get in a car and drive to Indiana to go have nature time with the family, and they're complaining about it. I always go, why don't you just do it up the street here at the barn?
Walk.
It's at Sexton Park. You've got all this stuff right here for the kids and for the family. It's a lot of fun. They get a lot of interaction. They don't get the massive crowd you would get at a place like that. This is such a gem inside of Evergreen Park. It's definitely something to stop by.
Walking around that pond, you know what? They cut down a lot of the reeds and everything in the spring and over the winter and everything. The bullfrogs.
Yeah.
The bullfrogs out there are the size of a dinner plate. They're beautiful. In the evening, you get the bats. Sit on a bench and watch the bats go over the little pond. Oh my gosh! And I don't know if you know this. I've never seen them until this year. The koi out there.
Okay.
There's a big koi.
There's a ridiculous amount of wildlife right here.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah, at the barn.
You don't have to go far.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't have to go far.
90 right off of 91st in California.
Yep.
If you've never been over here, check it out. Mary Kay is, I think, here all the time. She loves it. And then there's this guy here.
There's Nugget.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much
Thank you
for
coming out.
telling us all about it. And again, is it 7 days a week open?
7 days a week.
Just stop in.
7 days a week.
Just
Pop in.
Don't come in at 2 o'clock in the morning. No, they're sleeping. All right. But otherwise, I think the hours are pretty open.
Say, hey, this is my first time.
Yeah.
Or,
I need
hey,
to
I
walk
just
and
want to
talk.
I want
Right.
to walk and talk, or I just want to. Some people, it's a place of healing. Animals are very.
Cat and a Coke. More walk and talk. Walk and talk. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary Kay.
Great.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.